Three Asian giants, one throne, but the country leading might shock you, and it's not who you think. In the next decade, one region is poised to reshape the balance of global power. And it's not the West. Asia has quietly become the new arena where the future is being built. In tech labs, trade deals, military drills, and AI command centers. India, Japan, South Korea, three nations, each with a different story, each fighting to define the next chapter of world leadership. But here's the twist. The winner may not be the one with the biggest army or the loudest media presence. So the real question is this. With India's booming youth, Japan's tech edge, and South Korea's innovation drive, who will actually rule Asia in 2035? But what if I told you? The most likely winner is also the most underestimated. India isn't just rising, it's exploding. With 1.4 billion people and the world's youngest population, India is on the brink of becoming the largest consumer market on Earth. Every year, 12 million young Indians enter the workforce. That's more than the population of Sweden. Every single year. This isn't just about numbers, it's about speed. Between 2021 and 2024, India's GDP growth rate averaged 7%, outpacing most developed countries. And while the world talks about China, India's digital revolution is already rewriting the rules. UPI, India's Unified Payments Interface, now processes 11 billion transactions a month. Think about that. That's more than Visa and MasterCard combined in some regions. And it gets crazier. Back in 2014, India pulled off something the world thought was impossible. It sent a mission to Mars, for less money than it cost to make the movie Interstellar. That wasn't just a technical feat. That was a statement. We're here, and we're doing it on our terms. India is also building one of the largest digital identity systems in human history, Aadhaar. Over 1.3 billion citizens are now biometrically registered. This isn't science fiction. This is the future of governance. And India is exporting it to countries across Africa and Southeast Asia. And don't forget the military. By 2030, India is projected to become the third largest defense spender globally, only behind the US and China. It's already expanding naval bases, testing homegrown fighter jets, and forming tighter military ties with the West through the Quad Alliance. But while India rises like a giant, one country is quietly rewriting the rules of tech warfare. Japan's reinvention arc old power, new rules. For decades, Japan was seen as a sleeping economic giant, a tech pioneer that hit its peak in the 80s and then faded into a quiet powerhouse. But don't let the silence fool you. Japan is reinventing itself in ways the world isn't watching closely enough. And it's not just about robots or bullet trains. Post-COVID, Japan is making a comeback in semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and next-gen automation. Government-backed investments are flooding into chip manufacturing. Major deals with companies like TSMC and Rapidus are positioning Japan to be a semiconductor hub again. And not just for Asia, but the world. It's part of a broader vision. One you've probably never heard of. It's called Society 5.0, Japan's boldest move yet. Unlike the smart cities we hear about in the West, Society 5.0 is a nationwide plan to embed AI, robotics, and big data into every layer of Japanese life, from healthcare and education to disaster prevention and food security. This isn't a concept. It's already underway. Facial recognition payment systems in Tokyo, AI-powered nursing homes, robot-run farms in Hokkaido. And here's the kicker. Japan is doing this with one hand tied behind its back. With one of the world's oldest populations, nearly 30% over the age of 65, Japan is on a ticking demographic clock. But instead of panicking, it's automating. Imagine a country where robots care for your elderly, drones deliver your medicine, and AI predicts earthquakes. Now stop imagining, it's already real. Still, there's one country that doesn't just dominate in factories or finance, it's mastered the art of global obsession, through your screen, your playlists, and even your fashion. South Korea's soft power and innovation curve. If economic power was all that mattered, South Korea wouldn't be in this race. But global influence? That's a whole different game. And South Korea is winning it silently. Let's break it down. South Korea has one of the highest innovation scores in the world, consistently ranking in the top 3 globally. Its economy punches far above its weight. But the real story? Culture plus tech plus strategy. First, the obvious players, Samsung, LG, Hyundai. These aren't just global brands. They are technological juggernauts, reshaping phones, cars, appliances, even military drones. Then comes the cultural wave, the one that snuck up on the world. K-pop, K-dramas, K-beauty, Korean gaming. These aren't just trends. They're billion-dollar industries fueling South Korea's grip on youth culture worldwide. From LA to Lagos, Seoul is setting the vibe. But this isn't accidental. The South Korean government actively invests in pop culture as a form of soft power. Through grants, training academies, even diplomatic support for entertainment exports. It's national strategy disguised as fandom. And while we were watching BTS dance their way to global stardom, South Korea quietly became one of the most digitally advanced societies on Earth. Seoul is now a smart city prototype, experimenting with digital currencies, AI-driven traffic systems, and even predictive policing tools. And here's the futuristic twist. In 2022, South Korea trained an AI model to help write legislation in their parliament. Not propose ideas, not summarize reports, actually help write laws. Pair this with some of the world's most advanced cybersecurity capabilities and a strategic alliance with the US, and suddenly South Korea looks a lot more than just pop culture cool. So with India's scale, Japan's reinvention, and South Korea's cultural chokehold, who's really leading this silent war for Asia's crown? Now it's time to stack the numbers, culture, and power moves side by side. Because hype aside, who's really in the lead? Let's break it down. Innovation ranking. South Korea consistently ranks among the top 3 most innovative nations in the world, backed by high R&D spending, cutting-edge infrastructure, and tech-forward governance. Japan isn't far behind. With deep investment in robotics, AI, and a massive semiconductor comeback, it's poised for a second golden age. India is catching up fast. It's not there yet in innovation scores, but its digital revolution and booming startup scene are speeding up the curve. Edge South Korea. GDP growth. India leads the pack here. A projected growth rate of 6 to 7% annually for the next decade, a growing middle class, and a digital economy exploding in scale. South Korea and Japan, being advanced economies, grow slower, hovering between 1 to 2%, but they're stable, predictable, and globally connected. Edge India. Military strength. India boasts the second-largest standing army in the world, rising defense spending and nuclear capability. Japan has the most advanced tech and recently broke post-World War II constraints by increasing defense budgets significantly. South Korea is fiercely capable, highly modernized, and has one key card, a strategic military alliance with the United States. Edge India for scale and South Korea for alliance and tech edge. Population and demographics. India is the youngest nation in this race, with over 65% of its population under 35. That's a massive demographic advantage. Japan and South Korea face aging populations, with declining birth rates and labor shortages, forcing them to lean heavily on automation and AI. Edge India. Global influence and soft power. South Korea wins this round. No one is exporting influence like the Koreans. From K-pop to esports to beauty to cinema. Japan still commands respect globally through tech, design, and cultural legacy. Think anime, Toyota, and sushi. India's influence is rising, especially in tech, diplomacy, and the diaspora. But it's not yet dominating youth culture or soft power spheres. Edge South Korea. So, who's winning? If power was decided by numbers alone, India wins. If it was about tech and discipline, Japan has the edge. But if influence is the name of the game, South Korea is the silent assassin. Yet here's the uncomfortable truth. None of them can stay ahead unless they solve one critical issue together. The alliance no one sees coming. Here's the twist no one's talking about. What if these three countries stop competing and start collaborating? Imagine an Asian power bloc where India brings the scale, the markets, and the manpower. Japan provides the deep tech, precision, and innovation structure. South Korea drives global influence, cultural branding, and next-gen digital systems. Together, they could create a regional superpower that rivals the EU, sidesteps China, and redefines the 21st century balance of power. And some signals already point in that direction. South Korea and India are strengthening defense and tech cooperation. Japan and India are collaborating on infrastructure projects and AI research. Trilateral dialogues on supply chain resilience are quietly underway. If they move past rivalry and embrace alliance, Asia could see a transformation not seen since the rise of the West. But here's the question. So what do you think? Will one of these countries take the throne alone? Or is the future of Asia a three-headed alliance? Drop your take in the comments. I'm pinning the most insightful one. Let the debate begin.